All right, everybody, I've got a cool one for you today. This is a cooperative trick-taking game that gives you a quest through Middle-earth. Yes, this is going to be the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Rings trick-taking game for 1 to 4 players. Every single game takes about 20 minutes to play, and it has this ongoing campaign chapter-style progression. So when you start off at the very beginning, you begin with Frodo, Bilbo, Pippin, and Gandalf, and you're going to be playing these characters. These two are required to be played in that very first game or the first chapter, which is chapter 1. And if you've got 3 or 4 players, you're going to be picking those other 2 characters. But the cool thing about this is it's a chapter progression and everything is in a stack. So it says here, don't proceed here. No admittance except on party business after chapter 1. Oh, well, guess what? If you peek in there, you'll see, ooh, there's chapter 2. So every single one of the chapters is going to have this card that you read out to your group. It's got your story in it. It's going to be following essentially the Fellowship of the Ring story. So we've got Bilbo Baggins of Bag End announced he would shortly be celebrating his 11th birthday with a party of special magnificence. There was so much talk in Hobbiton. Wowie wow. And then, here's your little book. This is what it is, a long-expected party with Frodo, Bilbo, both required. That's what the asterisk is. Gandalf and Pippin can be chosen as well. And the thing about this is there are 2 different victory conditions. One is short, one is long. And at the very beginning of the game, you're going to be playing a lot of short games that just require 1 round of playing several hands. Our players are going to receive 12 cards in our 2 or 3 player game. And you will simply be playing 1 hand at a time, as with many of those trick-taking games. There are some really nice player reference cards that tell you exactly how many cards of each suit there are. There are 4 basic suits: hills, mountains, forest, and shadows of value or rank 1 to 8. And then there are 5 rings cards. Now, you're never allowed to lead with a rings card until someone plays another rings card into a trick. Or, of course, if it is the only card left in your hand, then that's also information. When you play the 1 of rings, you may choose to win the hand immediately or play it as a 1 rings. Still follow the lead suit. And then, of course, the rank is the number on your card. And then this tells you about tricks. This is what happens when you play into the hand. One person's going to start. It's Frodo at the very beginning of the game, and they play 1 of their cards. You must follow suit if you can. The highest card of the lead suit wins. There are no trump cards here except for the 1 of rings. During setup, you might have an exchange, which has a little hammer symbol, and you can pass cards to players, in which they pass you 1 back. And then here's that long and short that I was talking about. 1 round or play multiple rounds until you have actually completed your goals. So this is going to be the deck of cards that has all of those in there, the 4 basic suits of 1 to 8 plus the rings 1 to 5. So what you do is then you deal out 1 card to the lost card. This is essentially right here. It goes into the chapter. And Gandalf specifically gets to add the lost card to his hand and then exchange with Frodo as part of setup. And Gandalf's goal here is to win 1 or more tricks. Pretty easy to play, very flexible, a really nice character to select. Pippin is fantastic if you think you've got really, really bad cards or you have a suit that you can slough off because you want to win the fewest tricks or tie for the fewest tricks. And you get to exchange with buddies Frodo, Sam, or Merry. But Bilbo is one of the required players for this first chapter, and Bilbo says win 3 or more tricks. There are going to be 12 tricks in this 3-player game, and there's no setup bonus for Bilbo. Bilbo just needs to have some cards they think they can win with. And that leaves Frodo, our ring bearer. Frodo wins 4 or more rings cards, and there are 5 rings cards. Remember that. This is for a 3-player game. For a 4-player game, you have to win 2 or more rings cards. So if you are dealt the 1 of rings, you become Frodo automatically, and then play is going to move to the left of Frodo for selection in characters. So players get to draft the character that they want, and it's going to be in the order of clockwise from Frodo. Once players get their character, they have their 12 cards in a 3-player game. We'll put that little disc back in there for a 3-player game. Then you're going to start, and it says here that Frodo leads the first trick, playing a card into the central area, and then everybody's going to play a card from their hand, following suit if they can, and then the highest card wins. This is the basic game, the basic entry into the story, into the cards, and into the overall concept. Now, the One of Rings is the really cool trick here because it's the only one trump, and it's kind of cool because you have to really play the cards right. Now, in this kind of a cooperative trick-taking game, communication is not allowed. You're not allowed to talk to each other about what you do have, what you don't have, what you have a scarcity of, and what you think you might do or win if you have these particular goals. But once players accomplish their goals by putting their disc on their card because they've won 4 or more rings cards, because they've won 3 or more tricks, because they've won 1 or more tricks, you've succeeded and you can move on to the next chapter. So this game allows you to proceed to chapters based on your success. If you fail, you can go back and play it again until you win, moving on to the next section. But all you do is you just simply take this out here and you're going to have all of these really, really cool chapters and characters and items and restrictions and hindrances that are part of your story. And this is just 1 through 12. Just 1 through 12. So you have 12 chapters to play. You can play a couple a night. This is going to last you for a month. And then you get to proceed here from 13 to 18. There are 6 more. And they add even more complexity, even more nuance. And it just makes the game blossoms. The game just grows. And I have to say, because of the theme, the story here is so strong, and you feel like you're a valuable member of the team. You feel like you get to pick your goal based on the cards that you were dealt. You get to really find yourself in a nice position to help the team and to also help accomplish your own personal goal. Now, I compare this to The Crew because I love The Crew. I had so much fun with The Crew, both crews. But the thing about this is it has the theme. It has more of a anchor to a character, to a person, to a story, and it just feels more rich and it feels more satisfying. I think that this and the connections that you make with the characters following along in the story with the Fellowship of the Rings, it's just Fellowship of the Ring, it's just so much more engaging than the Crew games were, and you still get the same trick taking, you still get the cooperative nature, and in this case the campaign with 18 is super satisfying. You wanna I'm leaving these clothes, I'm leaving secrets for you because you want to discover what's going on in like the next chapter. You want to know what new character you're going to have available to you. And it's just so easy and fun. It's easy to get into, and boy, is it a delight. I mean, I honestly just had a ton of fun with it. And there's this really nice booklet. It gives you a rule summary on the back. It tells you how to play solo. It tells you how to play for 2 players. And then it also has the chapters with all of their explanations. So it's like, oh, chapter 7 is a little weird, or chapter 8 or 9 or 14 requires some extra stuff. This just kind of explains what's going on in there. And then, of course, that last page right here talks about the road goes on forever. After you finish the chapters, you can keep playing. Grab all the cards with the black number or the gold box in the corner of the cards. White box are not used, and you can just always play. You can just always play with the cards forever. So this game doesn't stop. When you finish, you don't consume it forever. You can just keep playing. Just change up the characters. Do whatever you want. It's really cool. And you get a lot in this really, really small box. It's well organized, and I think that everything's been so thought out. So there's this nice setup phase where players are strategizing what they want, who they want, and how they want to play. And then there's, of course, the execution, which is delightful as you play your cards and your fellow players, learn more and more about your hand and try to help you succeed in your personal goal so that the entire party can be successful. Just a real delight. So that's going to be my Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. What a mouthful! All right, everybody. I will see you next time, and enjoy the cooperative trick-taking game that is this. Wow. Really, really cool.